Well, welcome back. A man in the Coast Guard forced to choose between the love of a woman and the love of the sea. And movie reviewer Matt Perrone will take a closer look at whether or not he thinks this new flick will stay afloat.
Welcome to another Monday. Now, I'm not afraid to admit that I have caught the Kung Fu Panda cartoon series on TV, but I've never seen any of the movies. So even though the third installment had a huge box office weekend, I felt unqualified to see and review it. There were 3 other new releases this weekend, all beat out by holdovers. But I did manage to go and see the one that came in number 4 at the box office, which is based on a true life story. So here's my take on the true life rescue tale, The Finest Hours. Our story begins in the early 1950s. Bernie Weber, played by Chris Pine, is a Coast Guard officer stationed near Cape Cod. We see that he is shy and reserved, and the first part of our story deals with him meeting and courting Miriam, a local phone operator. After a few months, they decide to get married right as the biggest storm to hit the Northeast comes rolling in. Meanwhile, a few miles out into the ocean, an oil tanker with a welded hole gets ripped in half. Taking on water through the fractured hole faster than the pumps can flush it out, the more than 30 surviving crew members know that they will sink in the next few hours. Back on land, Bernie is tasked with taking a 4-man crew out to assist the ship. He gets 3 volunteers, although everyone knows that attempting such a rescue is a suicide mission. The 4 set out in a tiny boat battling freezing temperatures and 70-foot waves. Upon losing their compass, the 4 are basically flying blind, but Bernie refuses to give up. On the tanker, the acting voice of reason, Ray Siebert, played by Casey Affleck, is doing everything he can to keep the crew in their right mind and trying everything to keep them afloat long enough to be rescued. As the 4 luckily manage to find the tanker, a new problem arises in that a rescue of 30-plus people is made tougher in a boat designed to hold 12. Every time something goes right, more problems pop up to make the mission seem even more impossible. All the while, they know they are alone and that no one back home actually expects them to succeed. You find yourself getting frustrated as each problem arises and anxious to see who, if anyone, will make it back alive. So this is one of those films that as I was watching the trailers for it in the theaters over the past few months, I was actually hoping this wouldn't be the one I was reviewing. But after seeing it, I find that all in all, it's a pretty good film. It definitely drags in some points telling the story, but those dragging moments are character development, and I guess we have to know why we're rooting for the people that we are. It's definitely interesting seeing Chris Pine in this role. I'm used to seeing him as suave or a boisterous persona, but seeing him play the silent, uncertain type, it's definitely a nice change. The whole cast is great, especially Casey Affleck, but he's always fantastic in everything he's in, a much better actor than his brother, in my opinion. The visuals in the movie are stunning, and by the end of it, you find yourself feeling cold, and you don't care if you ever see water again. My only problem with the movie at all would be its predictability. I don't know if that's because I've seen too many movies, I don't know if the trailers give too much away, or even if the writing on the movie poster is too revealing, but I pretty much could have written this review without even seeing the film. I mean, imagine a rescue mission done by Disney, and that is this movie. But all in all, it is a well-done movie. Well, this has been your Monday Movie Musing. Back to you.
All right, not too bad of a review. Maybe you check it out on another day because it looks like the weather is going to continue to be nice. We'll have a final look at your forecast coming up next, live from Main and Gervais.